And welcome.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show.
This is how it feels like right now. And we're on.
Woo! Yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome to the live Q&A with Glenn Ambrose. We never really named it, did we?
No, I guess it's
No.
I guess it's live Q&A with Glenn Ambrose.
Yeah. So if you have a question that you would like to answer, this is our favorite show. I think this is our favorite show that we do.
I think so.
Yeah. So if you have a question, answer. Hi, Karen. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, friends.
Um,
Hello, mate.
So yeah, if you have a question, feel free to ask in the comments, and Glenn will answer your question, which is really fun. Also, share the video if you're a fan. If you're a fan of Glenn and what he does, and you think it could help your friends, share the video. That always helps.
Yeah, I double dog dare you.
I triple dog dare you.
Whoa.
Yeah. So this is pretty exciting stuff. This is going to be the last Ask a Life Coach live Q&A thing where I'm just using some regular Apple EarPods because we just moved and I haven't unpacked any of my stuff yet for recording. So this is the last one, I promise, where you'll see me like this and I won't have a microphone. Anyway, so Glenn, I have a question to start off. That is coming from somebody who has listened to almost every single episode of Life Lessons in Laughter.
You missed some? You better go back.
Almost everyone. There's almost 200, man. It's hard to keep up. Anyway, so my question is, how do you implement drastic, lasting change? Drastic, lasting change. How do you jump up a mountain? Like that's the type of drastic change I'm talking about. How do you get there?
It's all based on the level of commitment you're willing to put in.
Okay.
You know, that's really it. I mean, like when I first woke up, it was very dramatic, but it was because I just said the heck with everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was just like I let go of everything. It wasn't, you know, I let go of who I thought I was. I let go of what I thought my life was supposed to look like. I let go of what I thought life was supposed to look like in general. Everything that I believed in society, what I was taught, I just was like, screw it all, you know.
Yeah.
And that's something that suffering can kind of do for you if you suffer enough.
Yeah.
But really, it's like it's. And then since then, you know, I was kind of pushed into that, like I said, through suffering. But whenever I've made big changes in my life since then, it's always been when I finally drew that line in the sand and I stopped screwing around. Mm-hmm. Because we spend a lot of energy navigating our way around staying stuck.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. And it's, oh, well, yeah, I want to do this and I'm going to really try. And most of the time that doesn't work. I mean, we're talking about life change, you know, we're talking about rearranging our life. So like to do that, it takes a large amount of commitment. Mm-hmm. And that's, you know, and it's more commitment than it is effort. It's just saying, I'm not living like this anymore. I'm not. Well, what if your business falls apart? Cool. What if nobody ever talks to you again? Fine. What if you end up drooling in the corner all over yourself for the next 40 years until you die? Wonderful. Bring it. Like, you know, that's when I get to that point where I will not live like the way I'm living anymore. Period. And that's the commitment level that I have. And I don't give a damn what happens on the other side. That's when real momentous lasting change happens. That's why people laugh at me, because I often I explain to my clients about taking myself to the tool shed and give myself a talking to. And I mean, I do it, man, you know, because I sit there and I can get lost in navigating my way and and have something and put some effort towards changing it and wake up 3 weeks later and go, I'm still doing the same thing. Why is this still an issue? And then 3 weeks later again, and 3 weeks later again. And then finally, it comes a day where I go, okay, Glenn, you done now? Like you done playing around? Do you want this or do you not want this? Because if you don't want this, that's fine, which is actually an important part. If you're not ready to commit, don't. But don't lie to yourself and screw around and pretend that you are. Just be honest. I'm not. And there's been times in my life where I've just been, I'm not ready. Just kind of staying in this middle ground BS level is kind of comfortable right now. It's like, okay, that's fine. You have the right. We have free will. We have the freedom of choice. So, hey, Deb. So, like, we can do that. We can be honest with ourselves and be like, I'm not really ready to change yet. It's okay. Don't, but be honest with yourself. And then when you are, be honest with yourself. And then just be like, okay, I'm doing this. Come hell or high water, it's going to happen. Period. No excuses. No plan B. No nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, Kate, with Glenn with 2 N's and Ben with 2 N's.
She did put Ben with 2 N's. She knows better. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, the messing around and like pretending that you're ready for something is resonating. So I think that I want to preface this. And by the way, if anybody, the tens of people that are watching right now, if you have questions, please ask them in the comments. Otherwise, this is going to be a 30-minute life coaching session.
Type-a-roo.
Yeah, please ask your questions in the comments, or else I'm going to talk about this for the whole half hour and make Glenn do it. So the pain pushes until the pleasure pulls, right?
Right.
What if there's a situation, right? How does this fit into that narrative? Have you ever been offered something like a job or something like that, an opportunity that you really, really wanted to take, but you couldn't because of the situation you were in, right? Like when you were an alcoholic 20 years ago, was there and that situation makes you like the reality that, if you committed to the change, there are pots of gold at the end of the rainbow. You know what I mean? How does that fit into a narrative? Is that a bad reason to want to commit to a change?
What, for money?
No, for whatever. Not necessarily for money, but for whatever that like life goal is, whether it be like your business expanding, a job that you could get, a relationship with your son. You have this opportunity. You had this opportunity that you messed up for whatever reason. Are those negative reasons to induce a change? Like, how do you know that you want to change for the right reasons?
Well, I mean, if you're sick of suffering, then you want to change.
Right.
It's not like I don't, and I might be misunderstanding you. I'll preface it with that. But I mean, if I am understanding there's not, you don't need to figure out if you want to change that's not a question. If you're suffering, if you don't like where you are, then you want to change. Why? Because you don't like where you are. If something else looks better, then then you should probably change. I mean, keeping in mind that the changes that we need to make are internal. It's like, so it's like if there's, it's like in a business situation, because I'll try to stay away from the straight spiritual stuff.
Okay.
It's like in a business situation, it's like, okay, if I want to expand my business, who do I need to become to take this next step?
Yeah.
And then, once you understand who do you need to become, then it's pretty easy. You kind of either like that person or you don't. If you don't, like, if I go, okay, I want my business to expand, and I go, who do I need to be to become that, to have my business expand? If I'm coming up with things like, I need to learn how to step on others and not care about anyone and put money first. Well, are you going to like who you're going to become in that process? No. So you probably shouldn't head in that direction. If you go, oh, I need to open and I need to be more trusting and I need to bring some structure into my life. Oh, I like the way that person sounds, then that's a positive change.
Yeah, absolutely. So then how do
And if you're not sure, just hang on a little while and suffer longer. That's the beauty of that's the beauty of not changing. Like, you don't have to worry that you missed the boat, because like you said, pain pushes until pleasure pulls.
Right.
So like, if you're sitting there and you should change and you're like, nah, I'm not sure if I should change. I don't know if I want to change. I don't know. Nah. Just then don't. Just sit there, just hang out, chill, continue on as you are. Because what's going to happen is if you're supposed to be changing, then the suffering is going to increase and increase and increase and increase until you can't take it anymore. Then you'll change. That's fine. It doesn't make you a bad person. I experienced enormous amounts of suffering before I changed.
And then let's get into the practical. Again, if you have questions, please ask them in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to keep talking about this because I have a million questions regarding this topic. Yes, thank you, Deborah. Okay, I have a question for a friend. Really? Sure, Deb. Who cannot get online right now. She needs to make some major changes in her life, but is having a lot of anxiety that is hard to get through. Great question, Deborah. She believes it is due to the situation in the world right now. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I believe that everything, happens for us and not to us. It's kind of like a foundational thing, because if I throw that out the window, then nothing makes sense in this world. I'm just a victim of life, and I might as well just go dig a grave tomorrow, because there's really no sense. Without that, it just, nothing makes sense. So, with everything going on in the world right now, I believe it's an opportunity. It's not a problem. She's somewhat immobilized. So it's, whatever your situation is, it's like, it's, everything is collective and individual all at the same time. That's the beauty of divinity. That's the beauty of omnipresent, omnipowerful forces at work. So like, everything can be happening to push the universe or the world towards a spiritual awakening collectively, and at the same time be a perfect situation for us individually. So, I think in the last few weeks, I've been telling everybody this. Everybody's feeling frustrated, man. They're ready for this to be over. So, and I think it's just another wave. It's we're stretched out. We're like here, man. We've like grown as much as we can. So we think, and we've stretched, and we've tried to embrace the difficulty. And we're like, this is like, I'm done. I'm stretched. I've grown. And the universe is going like, no, you're not. There's a little bit more, and we need that out of you. This is a big shift we're making. So we need you to go here. And we're here. We think we're stretched because we've never stretched this far before. So we're like, I'm at the end of my rope. And the universe is like, no, I know better. You can go here. And this is what I need from you. Not here. So I think it's trying to stretch us further. And from day one, I've opened up to this and said, this is happening for me. What clarity can I gain? Where's my growth that I can personally get out of this? And then I hit a wall a few weeks ago, and I started feeling, as soon as you let go of that, or you think you're at the end of your growth, that's the end of your comfort zone. Then all of a sudden, the only place you fall into is victim mentality after that. So I was like, I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling stuck. I grew. Now let's just have this be over. And it's not over. So I said, well, then this must be happening for me, not to me. There must be more growth. That's where I came up with that less 10% mentality. There's got to be more. Otherwise, we wouldn't be being held here. If we had changed as much as we needed to change, if we grew as much as we needed to grow, we'd be good. And this situation that we're in would be over. But it's not over. So we haven't grown. That's, how do you know, like, how do I know I should be sitting here? Well, because I'm sitting here. That's how. That's the, like, it's the reality of the situation that we're in. So I'm being held still just like everybody else is, because there's more growth. There's things we can do where we are always. So, if you want to make some changes and you're not capable, like, let's say some of these changes are physical or geographical, and you're not capable of doing that right now, well, then you're not supposed to be making a physical or geographical change right now. There must be something else you can do beforehand. And, going back to the question, they mentioned anxiety. It's like, well, maybe there's some anxiety you need to deal with. Maybe you need to do some work on dealing with some anxiety. Maybe you need to shift your perspectives around the anxiety. And then when this is over, you'll have done the internal work to get yourself prepared to be the person to be able to take those physical or geographical steps. So, and that's what I'm doing. I'm looking forward to traveling. Well, I can't travel yet. So what do I do? Go, I can't travel yet. This isn't fair. And I'm ready. The universe is lagging, obviously. It seems to have, I think its watch broke, No, the universe knows exactly what time it is. It always knows. So wherever you are, this is a method for success in any area of life. Wherever we are, do what you can there. A lot of people are going like, oh, geez. So back to the question, how do I deal with anxiety? I don't know. Look around. What's in your life? What's happening in your life that you have anxiety around? Okay, deal with that. Nobody says they have anxiety if they're not dealing with anxiety right then. They're not saying, I hypothetically might feel like anxious in the future. No, they're feeling anxiety. So if you're feeling anxiety, you can work on anxiety right there, right where you are. You don't have to be anywhere else. And you can work, anxiety is fear of the future. So, and we've got at least one podcast on that.
At least one. Yeah.
One specifically on that, but probably several. So, start diving into the anxiety and start reshaping your perspectives around it. And health problems, a lot of health problems, quite honestly, is about non-resistance. It's not how was it? I heard somebody recently talking about this, and they really phrased it well. They said something about like, you don't accept that you're sick, like accept the physical manifestations of the sickness that are happening to you in that moment. So, let's say I've got a stomach issue, cancer or whatever. It could be anything, but it's focused in my stomach, and that creates pain. Well, if that creates pain, if I can accept the fact that I have pain and not resist the fact that I'm experiencing pain, that's like the first step. So you can accept that type of stuff, but you don't want to accept the mentality that like, I'm dying of cancer. Because now if you accept the fact that you're dying from cancer, well, you're probably going to die from cancer because you've accepted that, like, that's the reality of the situation, which people recover from all kinds of things all the time. I mean, if you want some inspiration, Google Maurice Goodman, the Miracle Man. I mean, this guy destroyed his entire body in the 80s, I think, in a plane crash. And he taught himself how to breathe without a diaphragm. Like, seriously? And I mean, the doctors didn't teach him how to breathe without a diaphragm. He just came up with it and taught himself all on his own. Like, this guy, I mean, the stuff that our bodies are capable of is mind-boggling. And there's countless stories of it. So that's one thing you could do, is start Googling medical miracles. There's TV shows, series about them. There's probably YouTube and articles and books. And I mean, they've been happening for thousands of years, so start feeding yourself with that. That's what this Maurice Goodman did. He was a businessman, a very successful businessman. And he listened to Zig Ziglar, who's a very positive thinking businessman, mogul type guy. And he could only communicate by blinking his eyes. So they created a board with like an alphabet, and he would blink to go through the alphabet and create words. And he had his sister go get his Zig Ziglar cassettes, and he listened to them on repeat all day, every day for weeks. And his body was completely destroyed. He walked out of the hospital 90 days later. It's just, it's insane. It's insane what we're capable of doing. And, the last piece about that is, I understand, man, sometimes things are just really horrific health-wise. And I get it. I understand that. But there's people that have found peace within themselves in every situation, on death row, in jail, extreme physical pain. I had a listener reach out like last year that really enjoyed my podcast and was suffering dramatically physically. And she had done so much work on herself that she actually found peace. The most peace she's ever had in her life. She found that in bed, suffering dramatically physically. So other people have done it. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. But other people have done it. So start researching that stuff and inundating yourself with that type of information.
Yeah.
Joe Dispenza healed his back. Yeah, that's true too.
And Deborah said that makes sense. I will talk to her and summarize and have her log in for the next Q&A. Thank you.
And she should be able to watch a replay of this too.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. She can watch the replay of this, and it's on YouTube too. If you go on Glenn's YouTube page, you can. That's an easy way to send it if she doesn't have Facebook. Natalie says always room for change, but it's a process.
And sometimes it's a process. Hey, buddy. And yeah, sometimes it's a process, but kind of going back to what we started with this talk with was what you were saying. How can you make dramatic change like immediately? A lot of times it is a process. And I would feel comfortable saying most of the time it's a process. But that doesn't mean it has to be, like if you're in a dramatic situation, you can have dramatic change. Like if your suffering is enough, like I said, I changed my entire life in 3 months, all of it, 180 here to here in 3 months. So it's not as much work as we make it out to be, sometimes. And I've been in, but to get back to the process, I've been in the process ever since. I've been in the process of gradually learning and implementing and all that stuff for years. But every once in a while, I'll blast through a big door and squeeze through the knot hole of your pain. And on the other side is just immense relief. So we have those too.
Absolutely. 3 months. That's an interesting. Kate Kennedy says, "Hey Kate, says, is there a spiritual checklist you can use to weigh your choices of change against?"
A spiritual checklist that you
You want me to put it up again?
To weigh your choices.
Yeah.
Well, I think it just clicked. So, and if I'm wrong, correct me. But I mean, I think the easiest way, if you're trying to figure out like, what changes you should make and stuff like that, it's just love and fear. Simplify. We get two ways of living. We either live through fear or we live through love. And if we like to take a job, for example, if we're looking at a job and we go, okay, well, this one is a little bit longer of a drive and I hate driving, but the money's better. So maybe I should take that one. Or this one's a little shorter drive and the boss seemed nice, but the money is a little less. Well, one, if you take the one just for the money, that's fear of lack. Like like you think that you don't have enough money. So that it's your decision is based on fear. But if you take the other one, you go, oh, well, I would be happier driving less. And I think my days would be more enjoyable with a boss that I get along with. That's love. That's self-love, not love for the boss. It's self-love. You care about yourself enough to try to create a life that's more pleasant and joyful for yourself because you love yourself. So, you can do that with really anything. Sometimes it can be a little tricky, but they make life coaches for that.
I was wondering what they made you for. All right. Well, that's the last question that we have on there, and we're coming up about to our time. I have one last question for you, Glenn. Did you miss me last week?
I did. I didn't know where you were, and I was scared.
That is not true. I popped up in the beginning of the show.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was different. We're so used to working together that if you're not around, it's like, okay, what's happening? I have to calm my anxiety. I have to look at my shirt.
Very nice.
Heavily meditated.
I like that.
Get it?
Yes.
On the back too.
Nice. I from 6 to 6:30, I was constantly aware that there was a show happening that I was not a part of, and I had anxiety about it. But then it's from 7 to 7:30, there was another show, and I completely from 7 to 8 that I wasn't doing, that Jackie was doing instead, like she did yours, and I completely forgot that she was hosting a show for me. And I never checked in. Thought about it. Yeah.
That's because I've emotionally tormented you so much.
Thank you for admitting it. Buddy has a question.
Let's do it.
Ask your question, bud.
Rip it out, bud.
Let's do it.
I just had the flash from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. What's your problem, bud? I just watched that last week.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, Kate.
Glenn's the person that should be saying you're welcome, not me. But yeah. Buddy, what's your question?
He's probably typing away.
That's true.
Type.
Yeah.
We're on pins and needles.
Well, I just want to say while Buddy says that, if you have a question that we didn't get to, you can join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. for this live Q&A. Also, you can send in your questions to glenn@glennambrose.com. And that is the website, glennambrose.com. And Glenn will answer your questions. There's another show that we do called Ask Glenn Anything. That is an email exclusive show where he takes a deep dive into one listener question every Friday. And that gets sent to you directly through your email. And once you join that mailing list, it's not like he spams you or anything. Trust me, I know I'm the person that sends them out.
Yeah, there's not many. There's not many.
He says I am typing it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please, if you've checked out my book, leave a review, because we've gotten the numbers roll in every once in a while, and I'm seeing the book is getting more and more popular. But there's not that many reviews still, so that would help it, take off to another level. So do that, and send me, topic ideas too for podcasts. Yeah. And I know some of you don't listen to podcasts, so go listen to podcasts.
Oh man.
But yeah, like sometimes, we're always looking for topics and questions and all that stuff. It's like you said, we're starting to approach 200 podcasts. So
yeah. All right, Buddy's question is ready to go. And I just want to say, Buddy, thank you so much for Sarah says, I totally left a review for your book, first I've ever done. Buddy, I just want to say I so appreciate you asking this question. However, you did ask this question right as we were wrapping up, and I know Glenn's going to go off on it. So enjoy.
What's up with the negativity that's rampant today in politics? Well, it was rampant yesterday and last year and 20 years ago too. Just go check out some news footage of the Vietnam War and what was going on in the United States around that. Especially everyone is offended and so hateful. It's contrast, that's what's happening. I mean, it depends on where you look. Like I actually think the riots were a good example of this, because there were so many protests. Sometimes they were weekly and even more often in a specific area. And like there was, if 10% of the protests broke out in riots, I would be shocked. I bet you it's more like 5% or maybe even smaller than that. What was all over the news? My God, if you can film something on fire, you get a raise. It's like, so, you got to take it take it with a grain of salt. We're being fed negativity because that's what sells, which is our fault. So, if people didn't get all excited about it, they wouldn't be filming it. So, so we're addicted to the negativity as a society. And, but we have to, it's all about where we put our attention. Like I'm a life coach. I talk to people all the time. That's my job. I don't have one client, not one client that hasn't gotten some sort of benefits out of this pandemic. Every single one of them has experienced moments of peace and growth and stuff like that. I don't have one that was like the negativity that I hear out there, and that I see people doing like on frickin' Facebook and all that. Social media is a nightmare. It's horrible. My feed is 90% like positive, and I still had to take Facebook off my phone because like I'm on there and it's like people say the most ridiculous stuff. And one of the big problems, I was talking with somebody about this today, it's words. What's ridiculous about what's going on right now is people are arguing over words. Like if you say Black Lives Matter and somebody else says all lives matter, well, then you fight. And then if somebody explains why, well, that's not a good enough, and then you fight. And what's interesting is the people who are saying Black Lives Matter and the people who are saying all lives matter, they both think it's bad when a cop kills an innocent man. So why are you arguing? You're literally arguing over semantics. You both think it's bad. Man killed. Bad. Keep it simple. You know, there is so many arguments because we're like squirrels. We live unconsciously, and anything that's shiny captures our attention. It's like, what? What did you say? Well, I perceive that way, and that's not right because now you're infringing on my theoretical rights and blah, blah, blah. It's just words, man. Look for the meaning under the words. We'd be arguing a lot less. It's really not that complicated. You know, like if somebody kills an innocent person equals bad. We can all agree on that. This is 3/4 of the time we are literally arguing with the people who agree with us because they said it differently. We didn't like the way they said it. If we would just stop arguing over stupid semantics and band together and go, you know what? Killing innocent people is bad. Yay! The whole country can agree on that. And there wouldn't be division. But that's not what we do. We go, somebody said something in a way that I don't like. You know, we're all individuals. We're not going to agree on the semantics of everything. We're not going to agree on perspectives of everything. We're not going to agree on pretty much anything. So, like, at least give us a chance by focusing on the topic. At least focus on the topic, man. It's not that big of a controversy, most things, you know. So that's one aspect of it. But I think really the big answer for everything is we have to put our attention on, like, how come everybody that I talk to is really doing well if everybody in the world is doing bad? Well, everybody in the world isn't doing bad because there's lots of people doing well. It's just the people who are doing bad are all over the news. They're piping up all over social media. They're very noisy and loud. Ugh. So, like, we look for things. You know, like a week or two ago, I got a little frustrated. So, know what I did? I felt that negativity. So I Googled positive things that came out of the pandemic. Literally Googled it and started reading different things that popped up and watching videos. That's what we need to do. Inundate ourselves with the positivity that's come. My life has gotten much better because of this pandemic. And I've opened up even more spiritually. I found more levels of happiness. I've connected to more insights and understandings about myself and my life. And most of the other people that I associate with have too. So the people who are positive already, start there because they're just getting more positive. And then the people who are, you know, think of it, it happens on tiers depending on where you were when this started. If you were positive already, then you're becoming really positive. You're becoming really even more positive. If you're just kind of positive, then you're going to increase. And now all of a sudden you're going to be like those other people that were really positive. You know, if you were just on the edge, half positive, half negative, you're probably going to shift to even more positivity now, and you're more positive and less negative. You know, and you got to remember a lot of the people, there's a big chunk of the population that we don't need. We don't need these people. Leave them alone. There's a big chunk of the population that is that's very negative, and they're probably not going to awaken in this lifetime. They're gonna just be on their deathbed bitching and moaning. Let them, just because they're not open to change. You need to be open to change to be able to experience it. So if you find somebody that's not open, it's fine. Let them go complain in the corner. You know, it's not that big of a deal. And then what happens is, as we focus on all the people who are positive and were negative and are starting to become positive, that grows and expands. Everything is energy. So the more attention we put on that, the more it expands and expands, and it lightens up the atmosphere. And then, like, what could happen is we could have so much love on this planet because of all those other people that it lightens up the atmosphere enough for some of those negative people over here to go, geez, I think maybe I'll open. There might be a better way. And even some of them might swing over. But even if they don't, we don't need them. You know, it's okay. Let's focus on the positive people and the people that are open to change.
Yeah.
That's 2/3 of the population. We don't need the other third. So just ignore them and focus on you being the change you wish to see. And once you really do the internal work and you're the change you wish to see, then you have something to offer others. And people will just start coming into your life. Hey, I was wondering, you've experienced it, Ben.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it wasn't long after we started working together that all of a sudden people started coming into your life asking you questions and asking for guidance. And as soon as you got your feet on the ground and started, implementing stuff into your life, all of a sudden they were coming out of the woodwork. They still are.
Yeah, I definitely have people calling, asking me questions every day.
And you've helped a lot of people over the years too because of that, so we can all help others, but we got to start on the work ourselves, be the change you wish to see. And then, so stop focusing on the external, who's not changing, focus on the internal, do the internal work. The brighter you shine, the more people you can touch, be a bonfire, man.
All right. Well, that was great. 45 minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. We could go another 15, but I unfortunately have 2 different shows at 7 o'clock. So that's fun. Buddy says, appreciate the time, my man.
You got it, buddy.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we already hawked stuff, so we don't need to do that again, but I will put it up at the bottom.
Yeah. So go to my website and sign up for the email list or something. Do something.
Do something.
Do something positive.
Do something. Yeah. But for real though, and this is great. And obviously the beginning stuff today was all stuff that was off the top of my head. Yeah, man, thank you for that, because I'm gonna go do something positive.
You're gonna go kick in a door, man. Do it. Draw a line in the sand and just find a door on fire and kick it in. It's a blast on the other side.
Do I have to kick in a door?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kick the damn door in.
Can't I just use a key?
No. Kick the door. All right, people. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.